Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second episode of Forgotten Fairy Tales. I got a little bit of housekeeping to take care of, but it's all good news, I think. First, we finally hit our 100 subscribers mark. Thank you all for subscribing. It's much appreciated. I'm going to ease back on asking for the subscriptions, although please, by all means, subscribe if you like what we're doing. So I also want to make an announcement about the upcoming main show schedule. So this coming Sunday, which is the 28th of August from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to have Steve Lancaster on the show. It is actually going to be a live interview. I've already spoken with him to arrange that. Steve is a paranormal researcher who's been investigating ghosts since 1997. He's a producer of Monster Vision TV, an independent paranormal investigation program, which has nearly 2 million views worldwide. In 2007, he formed the Paranormal Investigation Team, PIT, also known as the PIT Crew. He's been interviewed for hundreds of radio shows, including Coast to Coast, Dark Matter Radio, and Darkness Radio. He's appeared on Biography Channel My Ghost Story. He's also author of the book Dark Spirits, A Man Terrorized by the Supernatural. So we're going to be talking to him. Hopefully we'll even be able to open it up to questions for those of you who are interested. Now, to get to the stories of the evening, I'm actually going to do 2 stories tonight. I was going to do just the one, but it's actually pretty short, so I decided to tack another one on. These are 2 stories of one of my personal favorite figures in folklore, Coyote. The first one I'm going to tell, Coyote and the Origins of Death, is, let me double check and get a Caddo myth. And then the second one, Coyote and the Giant, is a Navajo legend. Now, one of the reasons I find Coyote so interesting, and this is to some extent two examples of it, is he fills a lot of roles in different Native American folklore. He's creator, he's the devil, he's teacher, he's the fool and the butt of the joke. Throughout all of them, he tends to be a trickster figure. And I love tricksters. So let's dive into Coyote and the Origins of Death. In the beginning, death didn't exist. Everyone stayed alive until there were so many people there wasn't room for anyone else. The chiefs held a council to determine what to do. One man arose and said it would be good to have people die and be gone for a little while and then return. As soon as he sat down, Coyote jumped up and said people ought to die forever because there was not enough food or room for everyone to live forever. The other men objected, saying there would be no more happiness in the world if their loved ones died. All except Coyote decided to have people die and be gone for a little while, and then come back to life. After the council, the medicine men built a large grass house facing east. They gathered the men of the tribe and told them that the people who died would come to the medicine house and then be restored to life. The chief medicine man said he would put a large white and black eagle feather on top of the grass house. When the feather became bloody and fell over, the people would know that someone had died. Then all the medicine men would come to the grass house and sing a song that would call the spirit of the dead to the grass house. When the spirit came to the house, they would restore it to life again. All the people were glad about these rules regarding death, for they were scared for the dead. So, yeah, pretty much from here things go like you expected. They'd see their fall, people would know someone had died. The medicine men would get together in the house and sing for the spirit of the dead to come to them. 10 days later or so, a whirlwind would blow out from the west and circle the house until it finally would enter the entrance from the east. Out of the whirlwind would appear a handsome young man who had been murdered by another tribe. All the people saw him and rejoiced to excite Coyote, who thought his rule should be carried out, not this rule. So after a while, another feather became bloody and fell. He saw it, and he went to the grass house, except he had an idea now. He took a seat near the door and sat with the other medicine men, the singers, for many days. When he heard the whirlwind coming, though, he closed the door before it could enter. And then the spirit passed by. Thus, Coyote gave us permanent death. And people began to grieve the dead and were unhappy. Now, whenever anyone meets a whirlwind or hears the wind whistle, he says, there is someone wandering about. Ever since Coyote closed the door and the spirits, they've wandered there finding somewhere to go until at last they find the way to the spirit land. After this, of course, Coyote ran off and never came back because he was afraid of what he had done. He always looked over his shoulder, afraid that someone was chasing him. Since then, he has been starving because no one will give him anything to eat. This is a very different view of Coyote than most people think. I think it's a little darker. He's still serving a purpose. I mean, obviously, if no one ever dies and they continue to eat, there becomes an issue. But I like it. It's an interesting story. My second story, which is the Navajo Legend, is one that my friend Patrick Thomas has referenced in his book Fool's Day. And it's actually sort of interesting at the start because apparently in the Navajo there's this legend that giants at one time roamed the earth that were particularly fond of the taste of children. What you find in a number of cultures, the English, for example, believe that England was at one time inhabited by giants before the various other people took over. And of course there's the legends of the Nephilim, the half-breed children of men and angels in the Bible, in Judeo-Christian lore, that were supposed to be giant men. At any rate, though, so Coyote's going along one day, and he runs across one of these giants. He looks up. Cousin, I'm on my way to the creek to take a sweat bath. I admit I was a little afraid to startle such a big, brave giant like you. So I caught your attention first. Will you join me in a sweat bath? Giant looks down at him. Why? The giant growled, putting down his club and looking a little more friendly. Why do I need a sweat bath? Everyone needs a sweat bath, Coyote told him. They're good for you. Cousin Giant, how else would you be able to get all of those no good things? Get rid of all those no good things in you. What no good things? Giant asked, looking down at his balloon of a stomach. You'll find out when you take a sweat bath, Coyote said. Of course, if you don't want to come with me, I'll trot on by myself. The giant stopped, and then he looked at his big stomach again and thought of all the no good things that might be in there. All right, cousin. Lead the way. I'll follow you. Coyote trotted off down the hill, making sure to keep a safe distance from the club, but letting the giant follow him. They reached the creek, and Coyote found a nice flat space where there were trees and bark and branches where he could build a sweat house. All right, Cousin Giant. This is an excellent location. You build the fire while I build the sweat house. The giant clumsily laid the fire and tried to light it with two flints, while Coyote built the house. After it was completed, Coyote quickly pushed into the house an unskinned leg of a deer that he had hidden. I'll trick him. He'll never want another sweat bath with me. Soon everything was ready. Coyote and Giant entered the sweat house. It was full of steam. Now what do I do? The giant asked. First, Coyote told him, you must drink some of this bitter brew that I have prepared for us. It is made of good, clean herbs and is wonderful for your system. It will take out all those no good things I told you about. Will it help get me catch those fast-running little humans? I like them better than any other food, the giant said. They almost always run away from me. That's because you are so clumsy on your feet, Coyote told him. Look at me! I can outrun almost anything in the forest or on the desert. That's because I take so many sweat baths. The giant was big, but not very smart, so he bought the whole thing. They sat in the sweat house, and the steam got hotter and hotter. I'm too warm, the giant complained, squirming. Let's go and get some fresh air. We will, Coyote promised. But first, we have to drink more of the herb brew. The giant shuddered. The stuff was horrible, of course. But he drank some more. And then he was the first one out the door. Now what do we do? He asked. I feel sick to my stomach. Wait, Coyote said. I'll break dishes so you can see the no good things you throw up. He brought out dishes for both of them. Dishes were curled up pieces of bark. Pinhead bark. Some sort of tree, I don't know. Now close your eyes and throw up what is in your stomach. They both emptied the stomachs. The giant's waste was clean, but Coyote's was full of worms and other no-good things. But since the giant's eyes were closed, Coyote switched the bowls. "Oh, cousin!" Coyote cried. "Open your eyes! See what a lot of no-good things you've been carried around with you. No wonder you're slow on your feet." The giant looked and threw up again. "Maybe we'd better go back for more cleansing," the giant said. Coyote was having a hard time to keep from laughing. "Yes, cousin, I think we should." They went back inside the sweat house, where it was pitch dark, and they drank some more of the brew. "Now I'll perform one of my miracles," Coyote said. "Feel my leg." "That's it. I'm going to break it and make it as good as ever." He took a rock and pounded the deer leg until the bone broke. All the time he was pretending to be in great pain. Now feel the bone, he said, when he had broken it. "Can you feel it?" "Oh yes," said the giant. "You broke it all right." "Now I'll make it good as new," Coyote promised. He began to spit on his own leg. "Become whole," he chanted. "Leg become whole. Be as you were before I began pounding. There it is. Now feel it." The giant reached over in the darkness. Coyote grabbed his hand. The giant felt the leg. He pinched it and pulled it. "What a miracle," he said at last. "How did you do it?" "I'll show you," Coyote offered. "Pull one of your legs over this way." Not knowing he was about to be tricked, the giant pushed the leg over close to Coyote. "See? Not real bright." "It will hurt a little," Coyote warned him, "especially at first." The giant's leg was heavy and thick. Coyote pounded, and the giant yelled and screamed for him to stop. Soon Coyote felt the bone break. "There! It is broken. Now start spitting on it." The giant began spitting. He spat and spat until he ran out of spit, and still his right leg refused to bend. "Help me, cousin," he begged. "The magic won't work for me." "Just keep on spitting," said Coyote. And he slipped out of the sweat house. And though the poor old giant would never be able to heal his broken leg, now it would be harder than ever for him to outrun anything, even little human beings. This is definitely a little different depiction of Coyote. It's more sympathetic. He's still making a fool out of somebody, which is his raison d'etre, as they say. But there's a point to it. You know, this giant enjoys chasing and eating humans, and giants in general apparently enjoy eating children. Now he's got a broken leg. He's not going to be able to run so fast. And it's a thing you can find, and we're going to do a lot more trickster stories as the series goes on, because I happen to like tricksters. Tricksters usually don't do tricks just to be a dick. There's a reason to it. There's a point to it. They're trying to teach you a lesson, or they're trying to do something to someone wicked or someone too pompous to help other people. Coyote's usually a good example of that, in that his tricks have a reason to them. He's trying to get somebody to be a better person, or he's trying to teach a lesson. But those are my two stories for tonight. We had the story of Coyote, how Coyote introduced death to the world, and the story of how Coyote tricked the giant into breaking his own leg. Again, for those of you who are interested, those stories are easily available online. In fact, I'll put a link in the description. But so you know, the Coyote and the Giant is a Navajo legend. The other is a Caddo legend. Thank you again so much for watching, and thank you again so much for subscribing. We finally have our own unique link, which is what I had been hoping for. I may do another one of these this week, just because I still enjoy doing the storytelling. we'll see. Let me know what you guys think if you get a chance. Just put a comment down below. Let me know if you like this. Let me know if there's any particular obscure legends you like that you'd like me to tell. I'm going to jump around quite a bit and I'm going to probably try to work in some Asian legends soon. Greek, Roman, various European legends. I'll do plenty of vampire legends because I do love my vampires. But the point, again, remains, I want to stick with stories people don't know very well. I do plan, probably my next one's going to be a story from Arabian Nights, The Fisherman and the Genie. It's my favorite story from Arabian Nights, I think. And it's interesting just because it's not like Aladdin. It's not like what you think of genies. And it's a pretty neat story. And the thing as well that's worth noting, people tend to think of Arabian Nights as a piece of fiction. It's not. It's a collection of folklore. These are stories people believed at one time. I don't know that anyone does still, but they're more like Brothers Grimm than a work of fiction. But there's some neat stories in there. There's some ones people don't know as well as Aladdin or Baba and the 40 Thieves. Hopefully you're enjoying this series, and again, let me know what you think. That's it for now, everyone. Have a good night.